All right, so we live and active on the podcast. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and give us three things you're grateful for.
Yeah, so my name is TJ Manning. Three things I'm grateful for is family, my beautiful girlfriend, and then God. Those are the three things I'm grateful for.
He's grateful for me, everybody, because I'm family. But nah, we're continuing with our college athletics series. My younger brother actually he's been through the whole process. I mean, we're gonna dive into his story, but I mean, he's been playing soccer since he came out of my mama. So she was the reason why she had him. He was kicking her stomach. She said, "Get up out of me." So go ahead and talk to me about actually like how you got into soccer, one, and then why soccer? Because I mean, I'm your older brother, so you were athletic and you were good in multiple sports, but why'd you choose soccer? Talk to me.
So the way I got introduced to soccer was mom actually had a friend who played indoor. It was like an adult co-ed league. She had asked me if I wanted to go watch. So obviously I went to go watch, and that was actually funny because that's the game that mom rolled her ankle and stopped playing soccer after that. But after watching and kind of talking to a friend a little bit, I was like, this is kind of interesting. Like, this looks cool. And then that's when I got into a YMCA league, started playing in the YMCA league. From mom's words, she said I dominated that league. So that's when I got moved into club, and I I chose soccer just because of it was a lot more fun than basketball. It was like a different feeling.
Mm,
I did enjoy basketball, but I felt like you know how you like play with something for so long and you get tired of it. That's kind of how I felt with basketball. But soccer, it's like I just never got tired of it.
mm,
I guess you would say I had a passion for it.
mm. You had a passion for it. So you developed that passion. You started playing youth, YMCA stuff, and then you gradually started getting into club. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can explain the difference between club soccer, school soccer, like what's the difference? Because my understanding is club soccer is like AAU for soccer. That's my
Mm-hmm.
understanding. But if you could, to listeners out there, kind of explain the difference between like club soccer, regular soccer, and why, if they even should, consider playing or trying out for a club.
Yeah. So, like you said, it's like the same as AAU basketball. You got high school and then you got AAU. But in soccer, even in basketball, you have you have rec league, or we call it say soccer. Say soccer is more so for like I call that the introduction, to introduce you into soccer. The coaches and practices aren't as intense. They're more so fun and learning experiences. And then you get into high school, uh, well, let's go to club. So if you go from say to club, club's different. You pay a lot more. Not Let me not say a lot more. Depending on where you go, you'll pay a lot more or a little less. You get the travel. You get more gear. Different coaching experiences. Like you get more of experienced coaching staff. You get more experienced training sessions. Um, it's more intense. It's still fun. Obviously, it's still fun, but it's more advanced. So you got your say, which is like introduction. Then you jump up to club, which is advanced. Depending on which club you go to, determines the advancement level. Because not all clubs have the most experienced coaching staff. And then uh, high school is like a mix. You get some people who play club, and then you get some people who never played before. Depending on what school you go to, they've never played before, but they just need players. That was my school. Uh, and then you get some guys who played here and there, and they're just looking just to have fun in high school. So that's kind of like the levels.
Mhm. So, so when it comes to college recruitment, um, what would you advise somebody? Like, should they play club? Should they play high school? Should they play both? Like, how would you how would you use these tools, right? We got vehicles. We got the club vehicle, the high school vehicle. Like, can we drive both of them? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like how do we use, these to get to our goal of playing in college?
Yeah. I would say I don't even. think it really, let me think. So like in today's, like the way the game is today and the way the recruitment is today, um, it depends where you want to go. In all honesty, like if you just want to go play in college for another 4 years, just cause, um, high school's fine. You can play in high school. Uh, you don't have to play club. Um, but if you're looking to play like at the next level, at the next highest level, let's say you want to go play D1 or a really good D2 in AIA school, I would recommend club. But overall, whether you play club or high school, you still have to reach out yourself.
Mm.
Uh, there's because you got to think you're in your city, you're probably one of like many thousands. Imagine you in 50 different states. You're one in a few million, like million, maybe billion. So they're not just gonna like Google, oh, TJ Manning. Okay, I'm gonna go watch his game. Like you gotta, in whatever school you want, whoever you want to come see you, you gotta network yourself. You gotta advertise yourself and say, hey, come watch me play. And that's the route I went. I did ID camps. But then I was like, why am I wasting? Oh, well, it wasn't my money, but why is mom wasting her money on ID camps? And like, why am I going to 50 other ID camps when I can just say, hey, here's my schedule, here's my games, you can come watch me play. Like that was so much easier than spending hundreds and thousands of dollars just going to different ID camps.
Can you read one for me? What's an ID camp?
ID camp is like um how do I want to put it? Let's put it in basketball terms. Um, it's where a bunch of kids uh, sign up. They sign up to what do I want to say? It's a camp. It's like a 2 hour. Sometimes it's a day, 3 day, whatever it is. It's a camp where coaches from that school, whatever school you chose, or sometimes multiple schools come to that camp and they pretty much analyze you.
So it's like
They
it's like an exposure, like a showcase event for
exactly showcase.
basketball.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
showcase. So it's literally like a training camp. You have your warm up. It's structured. You got like your warm up. You got your drills. You got your small sided games, and then you got like maybe more drills, and then you got your full sided games. And then after the ID camp, um, who knows? A coach may say, "Hey, we like you. Are you come for an official visit or a tour? Come visit the school, or maybe not." So that's the pros and cons to ID camp. You spend this money, you get exposure for yourself, but you may run the risk of not getting any response back from any of the coaches.
Yeah. And I'll even add to that one to one of the pros is that because I talk about this with my players in basketball. It's like while you may go to these camps and you might not get recruited,
Mm-hmm.
you still get to see where you stack up against the competition,
Exactly.
which that holds some weight. That definitely holds some weight, especially if you're looking at playing at the higher levels. So, like for you, like you went to a couple ID camps, like
Mm-hmm.
what kind of prompted you to go away from that and go another route? Like, was it the fact that, hey, I know I'm just as good as these guys. Let me try another opportunity. Like what was your thinking, your game plan on deciding to go against, those ID camps?
So the ones that I went to Wright State, I went to University of Charleston. I think I went to another one, but just sticking with those two, and Tiffin, sticking with those three. Um, Wright State, I was playing with a broken back, so I didn't really have the best performance there. I let the coaches know afterwards, but that's besides the point. With the University of Charleston, now although the kids I was showcasing myself with, I felt like I was better, if not the same level as them. I got to learn about their program and actually got to go watch a game. I watched their game and then I also looked at their roster. And what I learned was if I were to go here, they had varsity and then they had JV. If I were to go there, I probably wouldn't see varsity until maybe my senior year. Everyone on that varsity squad is foreign. European, South American, Jamaican. Like, no, I couldn't find one American on that varsity team.
Mm,
It was hard to find Americans on the JV team.
mm.
And they had on the varsity, they had like 20. On the JV, they had like another 20. So I'm like, if I go here, am I going to play? Because my ultimate goal was I want to go somewhere and play right away. That was University of Charleston. That's what steered me away from that. With Tiffin, it was the same thing. I look at their roster. There was uh, I don't think they had JV, but you look at that roster. There was no American on that team. Um, I don't even think Americans got scholarships on at Tiffin. So it was like, once again, am I going to go there and play? Am I going to get a scholarship? Can I afford to go there? So although you may not get recruited at these schools, you kind of learn more about the program and what they have to offer and who they select and what they're looking for. So
No, that's powerful because we talk about shameless plug, our recruiting course. If you guys don't have it already, you definitely need to grab that. We talk a lot about knowing our preferences and knowing what we want out of schools. And you hit on a key point that people miss out on is that they look for schools and they try to get schools, but they don't look at the rosters. They don't look to see like, hey, they just recruited last year 6, 7 freshmen. So at my position. So if I go to the school, am I going to play right away? You know, and then even going back, we have like a questionnaire of 22 questions that players need to ask themselves. And that's one of the questions like, how much do you value playing right away? Is that something you value? Because there's some people that just say any look is fine with me. And then they get there and they're mad, like, oh, I'm not playing right away. Oh, the
right.
weather isn't like you should have considered that beforehand because again, like you did your due diligence and you're like, oh snap, like if I go to this school, yeah, it's D1, but I might not get any playing time and I might have to pay out of pocket. Tiffin, yeah, it's in Ohio, it's close away, but again, it's D2. I might get scholarship money, but like, do I really want to pay that? So
Right.
you go through those processes, you go to those ID camps, those showcase, lack of a better word, showcase events. Talk to me about the next step in your recruiting process. So you're playing club, you're playing high school. How did you talked about the fact that you were emailing coaches. Talk to me about that process and how it went, like contacting coaches, emailing coaches, getting them to show up to games. Just kind of fill me in on that process.
Yeah. So like I said, well, the first step is you have to do your due diligence, figure out what school best fits you. Just off paper, not going to their campus, not talking to the coaches. You just kind of got to do research. How far is it? How much money is it? That kind of basic research. And then once you get a list of that, it's important that you create a list because if you don't create a list, you're gonna feel so overwhelmed. You're gonna be like, there's like 30 different schools, but in reality, those 10 schools don't even fit you. So if you make that list, you're like, okay, now I got 15. Okay, how can I break the list down even more? So that's what I did. I broke the list down and I took those 5 schools, composed an email, said, hey, this is my name, this is my age, this is what school I go to, this is the club I play for. Um, Here's my schedule. I'm interested in the school. I'm interested in playing for you. Here's my schedule. Uh, come watch me play in a game. And then it's up to them what game they want to come to. So that's why mom always harped on me. She probably harped on you. You never know who's there. Um, because honestly, like there were games where I had coaches show up and I had no idea they were there. Like they blend in so well. Sometimes they're not even in the stands. They're like behind the fence somewhere. You don't even see them. So that's kind of how like the process worked for me, just composing of like maybe 5 to 10 schools, sending out an email, sending them my schedule, and then it's up to them if they want to come or what game they want to come to.
Okay, so you're saying that when these coaches come to your games, they don't message you and say, "Hey, I'm going to be at your game today.
Nope, they do
Look out
not.
for me." So you're
They
saying
do not.
after the game, they don't always come up to you and talk to you about your performance?
They do. They catch you off guard. Like
Mm.
you'll be walking out talking. Hey TJ, you're like, oh hey, you're like, you're surprised. You're like, I didn't know you were coming. So yeah, after the game, they do. Honestly, I've never had a situation where a coach has just watched and just walked away. I've
Mm.
always had the coaches come up and talk to me. That could be because like the smaller schools came to watch me play. So I don't know. But you can possibly expect that too, where coaches maybe watch you, clipboard, and then walk away, and then they may send a follow up email. So
Mm.
just always you got to always play at your best.
Yeah. And let's even dive deeper into that playing at your best, because I'm sure some of those games that they came to, you didn't play at your best. I'm sure, right? We all have our off games. So talk
Right.
about the importance of the intangibles, right? Your personality, body language, some of the stuff that, we've all talked
Yeah.
about, right? So kind of talk to the audience here about the importance of those other things, when things aren't going your way, and how you still need to, be a
Play.
good teammate, so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah. So as a coach now, we teach our kids this. We ask them before games, before the season, halftime, whatever. We're like, what are the things that we can control? We can control attitude. We can control how hard we work, and we can control coachability. If you may not have the best game technically, but if you have the best attitude, you're being the most coachable, and you're working the hardest, those players stand out. Like if I'm looking at a player, if I'm watching my teams now that I coach, a kid may not be the most technical player, but I can work with a kid who's willing to be coachable, who has a really good attitude and works his butt off. Like, and coaches are gonna see that. But if you have like a shitty attitude and you're talking back to the coach, what do you think? You think they're gonna recruit you? They're like, he gonna do the same thing to me. He's gonna have a terrible attitude. He's gonna be talking back to me. That's a waste of my time. So you may not have the best performance technically, or skill wise, but if you work hard, have a good attitude, and are coachable, like those things matter.
I wish on a previous podcast episode I was telling the lady that I need a soundboard, because when people start spitting fire, I need that because you're right. Those are three things: be coachable, coachability, your work ethic, and that third thing,
Attitude.
and your attitude, man. Those three things will take you a long way, dog. So let's get deeper. Let's continue with the story. So you're in high school, you're sending emails, coaches are coming to watch you. You've narrowed down your list. Okay, now soccer season is coming to a close. Now it's coming to, signing day is coming soon. So now we got to start making a decision. Talk to me about that process and how that process went for you.
So after that process, if a coach has reached back out, if they didn't come to a game, oh, also I forgot, send them film, send them a film, a clip, not 15 minutes long. Like I had coaches tell me, like, don't send 15-minute long videos. Like we don't care. We're not gonna sit here for 15 minutes. Send us just 2 minutes. Uh, so yeah, send them film. If they reach back out or they come out to a game, usually the next step is they ask you to come for a college visit. Visit the school. You talk to the academic advisor at the school. You basically talk about finances. And then after that, they normally comprise of an offer. Some schools, what division? I think it's D3, Division 3. They call it a package, or it might be Division 2. I can't remember, but they call it a package because they can't give athletic scholarships, so they
D3.
just call it D3. Okay, so they just call it a package. It's academic and athletic. They just can't call it athletic. So yeah, they comprise of an offer. You look at it. Let's say, okay, I like it. You want to choose that school. You got your top three. You choose the second school. You let them know, hey, you're gonna verbally commit. Um, then after you verbally commit, then comes signing day. When signing day comes, you have a paper. It's like a contract. You have a paper. You have signature. Once you sign that paper, it's official. You commit it. You basically told the coach. You gave the coach a promise saying, "I'm going to attend your school." and this money is yours. Like it's a promise from both sides. So that's kind of how the process goes. It might be
So
a little bit in between, but I can't really remember.
no, that was pretty much like on target. You go from narrowing down your schools, visiting the schools. Once they give you the packages and let you know what they're going to give you, then you make a decision. Are you going to verbally commit? Then
Mm-hmm.
after the verbal commitment, like you said, the written. But I want to actually pause on that verbal commitment, because you had a situation that was interesting with the verbal commitment. If you
Yeah.
don't mind sharing,
Oh, most definitely. I'm not gonna say the school.
fair.
Um, so there was a school. School A had offered me a package. It was a NAIA. They offered me a package, and I verbally committed. Then school B said, "Hey, come." I was also interested in the school. Well, let me not say I was interested, but I was like, the more options, the better. You know, I don't want to just narrow my options just to one. If another school is interested in me, I'm gonna see what they have to offer. So I went to an overnight camp in school A. Uh, I don't blame my friend for any of this, but my friend had told school A like, "Hey, he's doing an overnight camp at the school." He didn't think much of it. He didn't think anything bad would come from it, and school A didn't like that. So I received a message saying, "Hey, what happened? I thought you committed." At the time I didn't know anything about verbal and all that stuff, but he said, "Hey, I thought you committed to our school," and I just let him know. Me and mom were talking about it. I just let him know like, yes, I verbally committed, but I want to see what this other school has to offer. I'm not just gonna knock them off the table because who knows, they may be better. Um, so school A then went on um, to let me know, okay, well, your scholarship is going to be on the table for someone else. So I had got a $2,000 offer from school A, and then maybe like that week or down the line or 2 weeks or whatever, he let me know that my scholarship had went from 2,000 to 1,500 because he gave $500 to someone else. Um, so that whole process was wrong. Um, to let people know, like if you verbally commit, it's just a verbal. Like you're just letting them know, hey, yeah, like I'm interested. You're not signing anything. It's not a contract. So if you verbally commit, you can still, and people do it all the time in basketball. They verbally commit, and then it comes signing day, and then like they pick up this hat and put that hat on, and it's like I thought you, and then they go on their Instagram and they change their mind. Like, all right, I verbally commit to this school. Like it's just verbal. It's just words. Now, once you put a pen to paper, that's when it's actually official. That's why they call it official signing day.
Yeah.
So that was that process.
No, and I think it's important too because if you're not aware that you actually have options, then the coaches can take advantage of that. Like, like that coach, I mean, at school A, he kind of tried to press you a little bit like, hey, like, well, the fact that you're going to see other schools, like we're gonna, your scholarship is on the table for somebody else.
Yeah.
And if you're unaware of the recruiting process, sometimes coaches will be even more aggressive with it, and they'll say, "Hey, if you begin to talk to other schools, like your scholarship's gone." So I think it's important for players to understand that you do have the option to continue to hear from other schools. Now, be wary of it because now today's people are kind of getting overboard with it. They're verbally committing to one school, then the next school verbally committing. So there is a happy medium, but
Yeah.
again, this recruiting process is about finding a right fit for you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like the school, you're not going to attend. Your grades are going to suffer. Your college career is going to suffer. So talk to me about school B. They obviously, you know, gave you something a little bit better. So why did you choose school B? And then kind of talk to me about your college career thereafter.
Um, so actually, I chose school C.
Ah,
Yeah. So A was the one that kind of tried to pressure me. B was the interest, and then I ended up just choosing C. So I'll get into that. So I didn't choose B. I didn't choose A because that let me know what kind of person that school A was. It let me know what kind of like program it was. So I was like, okay, I'm not kind of just made me mad. Like, I'm not choosing you. School B, I didn't really choose that. Um, for me, it was the campus. It was the campus setting. Like, it just, um, I guess the word I would use is it felt old. I didn't feel like I was at home. Could have been the time of year I went. I went during the winter time, so but and it was also more expensive. I would have came out of pocket a lot more. I would have been probably taking out student loans. Um, but I ended up choosing school C because A was affordable. I could pay out of pocket, no loans. B, it was relatively close, and C, I would get to play like right away, play right away. And I'm actually happy I chose school C because when I showed up to summer practice or summer camp, whatever, the guys that were there, I actually played with a couple or played against a couple, whether it's in high school or club. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And that team was actually like majority freshmen. We had
Mm.
one senior, one junior. Everyone else was freshman and sophomore.
Oh wow.
So it was a really young team, but we were technically good. Like we got some guys from like big schools. There's a big school down in Kentucky, not Highlands. I can't think of it. Um, I can't think of the name, but like some big name players from these big schools also went to Claremont. So for the people out there, don't feel bad going to these small schools thinking that they're automatically just bad because they're a smaller school. There's some people out there who have the same mindset like I did. Like I want it to be affordable. It's close to home, and I can play right away. And you'll find yourself sometimes playing with like big name high school players, like some players who got player of the year, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, don't let the name, don't let the division psych you out of choosing a school. Like you said, it's a business. It's what's the best fit for you.
Yeah. And I mean, you yourself were player of the year. So I mean, you coming off of a high school career, I believe three-time All-American,
One time All American, 2 or 3 time All State.
All State.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
one time all no, one time All Region. One time All Region, 2 or 3 time All State.
Yeah. So I mean, you yourself got put up numbers and went to a smaller school. So it's not about and yeah, I'm sure I hopefully players and parents have heard this before where it's not about the school that you go to and the size of the school. It's about how well it fits you and your
Yeah.
goals. So talk to me. You play a year or so there. Talk to me
Mm-hmm.
about that transition from college athletics to what you're doing now and playing professionally and coaching professionally.
So yeah, I played about a year, then I decided to stop playing. Um, then I was just going to school full time. So I'm doing school and I'm like, man, I started to think, I'm like, man, if I didn't play sports, I probably wouldn't be in school. Like that's how I felt. So I was just doing school full time. I was like, yeah, this is not it. It's not for me, which is okay. School's sometimes not for everybody. Um, so I guess you would say, I don't really like the word, but I dropped out. I hate that word. Um, yeah, I hate it. But
Definitely has a negative stigma to
it
it.
does. It
When
does.
it's
And
just
then,
making a decision that this isn't for me, I'm going to do something
yeah.
else.
Yeah, I just say like I just stopped going to school. That's what I say. But yeah, stopped going to school, working jobs. Then I got into like coaching. Um, yeah, it's been an adventure. I love it. Like I actually coach, so I coach at the club that I grew up playing for. But at
Mm.
the time, they didn't have a soccer team for my age. They had futsal. So for the people who don't know what futsal is, I recommend you Google it or watch a YouTube video. It's FUTSAL, futsal or futsal. It's like soccer. It's played on a basketball court or a court. Harder ball, a little smaller. 5 players on the court, smaller goals. Yeah, yada yada yada. You can Google it. Um, so yeah, I play futsal with them, and I'm actually coaching with them. So it feels like a family experience. Like we feel like family because they know me personally, I know them personally. So even though, like the other staff that we have, like it just feels like family. Like we all have a say. We all get to get like it's amazing. Like I wouldn't trade it. People ask me all the time, like, do you plan if someone offered you more money at this club, would you leave? I'm like, no, like I can't pass up family experience. Like I just really enjoy it. Um, so I'm coaching there, and then we also have a men's team, um, professional futsal men's team. Um, that's been fun. Actually, we're in the new season now. We have our second game next week or 2 weeks from now. Um, so I guess the transition from college to there, um, I guess I would say it's like kind of a coincidence. Like who knew that would happen? Who knew like after I'm done coaching, or who knew after I'm done playing college, I would go on to coach, and then from coaching, I would then go on to play on a men's team. So I guess for me, I would say it worked out. It worked out in the end. Uh, so I guess myself dropping out worked out.
Yeah. So if you had to, your younger self when you were 12, 13 years old, like what is a word of wisdom that you would give your younger self?
Explore, explore. I say explore. It can be explore new places. It can be explore new things, explore new skills, new avenues, because you never know like where it's gonna take you. At the end of the day, if you explore and it don't work out, you're right back where you were before. But if you explore and it works out, you just progress. So you have nothing to lose. Like you absolutely have nothing to lose. Um, and that's kind of what I'm transitioning to do more of is like explore, doing things that I wouldn't normally do. So I guess I would say also getting out of my comfort zone or getting out of my box.
Mm. Well, TJ, little bro, I appreciate you hopping on, sharing your story. Definitely dope, man, because it's like for the listeners out there, he was kind of the guinea pig for this whole course. Like as he's going through the process, like as a family, him and my mother, they're having conversations and they come and ask me, and I'm like, well, this is what I would advise, like this is what I would do. Like, and again, like it was just through trial and error. But again, like as you notice these podcast episodes, most of the people are having the same stories. They stuck to the grind, stuck to their guns, chose something that worked for them, and somehow when they chose something that worked for them, it somehow ended up going their way afterwards. It's interesting how that happens. Every single person I've had on this podcast has chosen a less desirable position somewhere, to the general public, less desirable, and they end up in the long run doing something good for their life. So I think there's something to say about that for sure.
Yep.
But appreciate you hopping on the pod, man. If somebody wanted to follow you in your journey, if they're trying to get some lessons, they're trying to get some work in, where you based out of? What's your, what I mean? Give us the plug, man. Your gram, your website.
Yeah. So my MySpace is no, I'm playing.
You said MySpace. What's your song on your MySpace profile?
my Vine is no, I'm playing. My TikTok and Instagram's the same. National Team TJ. What else I got? That's pretty much it. That's all I be on is TikTok and Instagram.
TikTok and
I'm on Facebook too, but I don't.
just get them on IG and TikTok.
Just give me on IG and TikTok. It would be cool.
One of the best in the game. But all right, man. You have a good day. I appreciate you once again. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate it.